today. Was there any acknowledgement that the U.S. could be in uncharted legal territory here?
None at all. And you can imagine President Obama wanting to maintain that position as much as possible. This is an American citizen, 2 American citizens who've been killed, and if the president can avoid owning up to the thorny legal and moral implications of what happened today, probably the better for him.
So assassination is illegal by executive order in the United States. We are not supposed to carry that out as a matter of domestic policy or as a matter of foreign policy. I understand that people who believe that this was legally or that this was legal believe that it was legal under the authorization of use of military force, that this was part of the war on al-Qaeda. Does citizenship afford any meaningful distinction for that as a legal justification for killing?
Under the authority to use military force passed right after 9/11, no. There is no carve-out. There's no mention of American citizenship. It's an exceptionally broad mandate from Congress, giving the president pretty much any power he wants to wage war anywhere around the globe. It's battlefield Earth. And there's not really been any pressure from Congress to restrict those powers in any way. The courts decided in the case that you mentioned that they weren't going to sort of step in and say who the military or the president can target. So there's nothing to stop the president from deciding unilaterally who he wants to target.
How important is it to know exactly what role al-Awlaki had in al-Qaeda and in the sort of franchise model that we think of al-Qaeda as an inspiration for either lone wolf terrorists or small cell-based terrorist groups? How important is it for us to know how that will be different without him, I guess, in terms of coming up with legal justification for how he was killed? It's
crucial for a couple reasons. One is there's no declared war in Yemen. Right? We're not at war in Yemen. There's never been any declaration there. So in order under international law for this to have been a legal action in Yemen, there must be some standard of imminence, according to most legal authorities in this sense. So if al-Awlaki isn't part of some operational plot that's moving forward, it's an open legal question whether killing him was legal. And then furthermore, this is an American citizen we're talking about, both him and Samir Khan. They're clearly guilty of incitement. You can see on any of al-Awlaki's disgusting, poisonous videos how they're trying to get Americans to kill their fellow Americans. On the other hand, there's absolutely no evidence ever been offered that either man was part of an operational cell of al-Qaeda or part of an unfolding plot. It's just pure assertions. And to kill an American without any recourse to due process of law, absent that basic evidence, is crossing a Rubicon in the war on terrorism.
In terms of that Rubicon and whether there are others, if the U.S. government can justify this action overseas, what about here in the U.S.? I mean, we know the FBI is also tracking people with possible ties to al-Qaeda and other forms of extremism. How close is this to the government claiming the right to kill first and ask questions later of U.S. citizens in the United States?
Right. I don't understand what the differentiating criterion could be. Why in Sana'a and not Schenectady? Why in Yemen and not Yuma? If the important factor is that an American citizen can be targeted for destruction, why not just fly a drone over the next, plot that, like we heard this week, that guy from Massachusetts was apparently trying to pull off? Why even bother arresting an American citizen at all? And then you're down an exceptionally tricky, murky, and ugly constitutional path.
Spencer Ackerman, senior reporter for Danger Room, and somebody who's been doing, I think, very clarifying and well-informed work about this today. Spencer, thanks very much for helping.